Hi, I'm Rodney, President and CEO of United Way of Central New Mexico, and for this edition of Right Now with Rodney, we'll be hosting Paul Mondragon from Bank of America. From 2017 through 2019, Paul served as a United Way board member, and in 2018, he served as chair of our giving campaign. Thank you for that, Paul. Paul is the Senior Vice President and Senior Relationship Manager of Community Banking with Bank of America. Bank of America is actually doing some exciting work in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So welcome, Paul. So tell us a little bit about the diversity, equity, and inclusion work that Bank of America is doing, and talk a little bit about what inspired it.
Yeah, so thank you, Rodney. The diversity, equity, inclusion work that we do at Bank of America has been going on for a long time. We've got a number of affinity groups that people could join and participate, whether it's Hispanic, Black, Native American, Asian, Pacific Islander. Bank of America has it all. And just recently, we've come out with a $1 billion commitment towards racial equity. And so that'll be coming out over the next 4 years. That $1 billion commitment is on top of work that we're already doing. We've been giving over $250 million a year, just community giving, supporting lots of different initiatives, broad spectrum. But this new $1 billion, which will be $250 million layered on top of that every year, will be specifically towards racial equity, healthcare, and economic mobility, in particular amongst people of color.
Those are some really, really noble efforts. What kind of support and effort does it take to make those type of changes across an organization so large as Bank of America?
Well, it starts at the top. So our CEO, Brian Moynihan, he's on the board of the Smithsonian Museum of, and I hope I get this right, but African American culture and history. Kind of a mouthful. So he is on that board, has been for a number of years, and it's just something that he is very passionate about. He believes he's just a very magnanimous and even-keeled and generous person, and when it comes to racial equality, it's just something that he completely believes in, and so he's bringing the company along with him, and I'm very happy for that. I'm thankful for that as a person of Hispanic and Anglo background, and we get to mix it all up here. So super excited about that. Starts at the top, he's the leader of it, bringing it out to our communities, and then letting us, within the communities, make some of our own decisions about how we deploy those funds, that $1 billion commitment over the next 4 years out in the community.
That's fantastic, and it really does start at the top, and it really does help support the culture. So in that same vein, how are dollars distributed in Albuquerque?
So some of that is still to come. So we haven't been told how much is going to be allocated to New Mexico, but we already have a pretty good background of working with different organizations. A lot of what we do is, this year our focus was going to be, for instance, was going to be on the Native American community. That got a little bit jumbled up. We weren't able to go out and hit some of the communities and deliver some of our better money habits, financial literacy, and home mortgages and things like that. We're going to educate about that within the Native American community. We can't get out and do that now, and we just unfortunately didn't have the structure in place to start working that virtually. And so we're working on getting that kick-started, but some of the things that we're already doing, again, better money habits, financial literacy. Here it's not going to be so much African American as probably Hispanic and Native American, just because that's the bulk of the population here. But we are looking specifically ways we could help African American causes here in New Mexico as well. A lot of this, of course, is going back to George Floyd and his death, and the tension and the frustration that boiled over after that, I'll take a step back and say that so the bank was actually already working on a $500 million commitment anyway, prior to George Floyd. But after that, after everything that happened, the bank just took a step back, said we can do more, we need to do more. And going back to Brian and his team, so again, we were gonna have this large commitment already coming out, but we've doubled it, and I'm just super proud that we decided to do that. And that's layered on top of, again, our annual $250 million in other areas. So we'll still be given to United Way. We're proud to be an anchor, and we've done that at least since I've been here, and probably many years before that. And so we'll continue those key local partnerships, but we'll be able to layer some other things on top of that.
So you mentioned that certainly Bank of America support for United Way is so strong, and we're definitely appreciative of that. But let's talk about your work with us. You served on our board, and you were the campaign chair. Why does that matter, and why is it so important for Bank of America to get involved at the local level?
Right. So at the local level, the bank believes, I believe, that the bank will do well as long as our communities are doing well. So the way we look at it, it's support communities, support our employees, of course, within the community, and support our customers, of course. We've got to, those are our three key constituents, and so we've got to help them all out. So as we're out in the community, out supporting United Way, well, we would look for partners like United Way. You guys are connected to so many other not-for-profit institutions that maybe we don't quite know about. We do have a grants application process, and we bring those in and we look at them, but you do the same, and with a whole lot more than we could do. So we're looking for partners that know the community maybe just as well, if not better than us, and so we're happy to be able to fund here so that you can do your great work of hitting all these other places of need that, again, maybe we don't know about, but we know the kind of work you do. And then if you add on top of that the particular programs, remind me the name.
Mission families,
the mission families, and mission graduate. Yeah, those key things that are new that you guys, that I'll kind of want to say we, because I was just on, but United Way of Central New Mexico. We've got United Worldwide looking at what's going on here in New Mexico, and looking at New Mexico as a model for what is happening, what can happen, what could be done United Way worldwide. So that makes me super proud, and I'm glad that we as a company still have somebody on the board. Elaine Darnell just joined as I rolled off, and so happy that she was able to stay in, and we'll keep that connection strong.
One last question, Paul. So you talked about the philanthropic philosophy and why it matters to give and get involved with the local community. Why personally for you do you do it?
I think because it matters, because just taking, and I don't know where I learned it, but it's so easy to sit back and maybe read a book or watch something on TV, and you think about it, and wow, you think somebody should do something about that. So for me, I don't know when it's just take that little step forward, and you can do something. You can, whether it's small or large, start with a small step. I joined one board many years ago, and something that interested me, and just got going that way. And then you meet people on that board, and you join another. And it draws you in, and you get to see, as you're on a board, as you're participating, as you're going on a march, as you're donating money, you get to understand that the little steps you take can matter. So I constantly try to do that. One little step, just get out there and do it. Try to teach my kids the same thing, pull them along, try to tell my friends, because I've got some friends that are in amazing positions these days, and it's like, well, wait a minute, why aren't you on a board? Why aren't you doing a little bit of extra work? We've been blessed. We are very lucky to be that we're in the positions that we're in. And it doesn't take a lot to give back in some way. And And it's a little bit addictive. You start doing a little bit more, and pretty soon it just fits in, and it's a part of your way of life that you're going to a meeting, you're helping out, donating a little bit of money here and there. So it matters, and the fact to be able to do it, I'm thankful that I am able to do it, and that people keep asking me to come back.
That's because you're so good. Well said, Paul. And thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Right Now with Rodney. And I'll also make the announcement that you're our first external guest out from the community. So there'll be more to follow, but you were the one that was a standard bearer. So thank you for being with us, Paul. That does it for another edition of Right Now with Rodney, and be sure to catch the episodes on our YouTube channel.